live in the natural state doesn't mean that someone is living in the natural state. It means that there is only the natural state, and this is the existence. So there is no separate form that was enlightened and reached the natural state, and then she lives as the natural state. So when Simcha, that is this separate form, reached this point that she became oneness, it's not that Simcha remained as a person that experiences enlightenment or self-realization or knowing itself, nature. There's the separate form Simcha and now she's enlightened. No, there is only this natural state, this oneness. This is all that exists, and this is the state. So how can it be that the natural state is moving through Simcha's life in the way it does, and how does it move? The first thing we can say about the movement of this natural state is that it is automatic. Like there is a grand plan or certain moves that were meant to happen, and this is the flow, and this is an automatic movement. So Simcha, the separate form, is not involved in any way in this movement. And this is very important because it eliminates all the hard work we put in our minds in trying to manage this reality and act in it and try to do things in it, because everything is being done automatically. And it's not that Simcha doesn't move, or now she's moving like this, now she's moving her hand. She is moving and she is speaking, but what she is saying right now, these words, are not the words of the separate Simcha that identified with herself 4 years ago. These are the words of that oneness. Prior to this change, they were also the words of this oneness. Only the separate form believed that she is the one who is speaking, that Simcha is the one who is speaking, that Simcha is the one who is doing. Now there is only the knowing of this happening, this creation that's always moving, and Simcha has nothing to do with it. She's playing the part. So this is the first thing. This is an automatic movement. There can be no interference in this movement. There can be no problems in this lifestyle, because there is no one to suffer from the results of something that happened not according to his plan. When there is a separate form and things happening, the separate form all the time wants things to happen in a certain way, and she disappoints. The separate form wants things to happen in a certain way, and when they don't, there is disappointment. And in the natural state, there is no separate form, so there is no disappointment, because everything that happens is what's supposed to happen, is the oneness is connected to what is that oneness without the separate form, so there can be no problem. How can there be a problem if prior to this moment of change, Simcha was having an argument with someone, then she was Simcha and he was that someone, and there was a clash and there were feelings. But now Simcha can argue with someone. She can tell him that he is wrong. She can do that. But she understand, or not she, the oneness understand who is that one who is arguing, why is he arguing, why is all this argument happening, and what is to become of it. So it's like a game, a playful game. So everything is a game in this state. In this natural state, there can be no disturbance to the separate form. There is no separate form, there is no disturbance. In this natural state, there is a great big silence and peace. This is its nature. It's the one nature. It's a constant, unmoving peace. It's tranquility. It's the most secure place you can imagine being in and acting from, no matter what happened in Simcha's life in the past 4 years almost. Nothing touched that quietness. And I can say that it's not that things didn't happen, because Simcha is married and has 4 children and has a big family and has clients in her video business, and she has many challenges. Not all of them are easy. Like humanity always suffers so much difficulties. So Simcha's life is not different. But no matter what happened in Simcha's life, the response was always from this quietness, this quietness. In this state, there can be no feeling. Feelings belong to the separate form. Feelings of love or hate, joy or fear, all these feelings belong to the separate form and help her in the story. But in the natural state, there can be no feelings that are of something, no particular feelings that belongs to something. There is, instead of all this range of changing feelings, sometimes I'm feeling this feeling, sometimes I feel like this. There is only one. We can call it emotion because I don't know better words for it, but sensation, emotion, state. And this state is, I can say it's newness. It's like something that is being born every moment. So it's the newest thing you can imagine. It's like in every second there's something very, 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 very new and exciting. So try to imagine what it would feel like to look at your daily landscape or things around you, and every time you look at something, it's like you see it for the first time. This is the first time you saw it. How exciting is this? So it's very exciting. It's like, it's amazing. And this is the natural state because everything is new. So this is why it is described as an ecstatic state, because it's so amazing. It's amazing to know what we are. When we know what we are that state, and we know that. We know we are that state. So it's like admiring ourselves. It's like looking around and saying, wow, we are so amazing. This is so amazing. This fly was flying around me. This is such a wonderful creation that I made. It moves so quickly and has such an amazing shape. And it's a fly. Simcha 4 years ago would look at the fly and wished it to go away and think it's only a fly. But the natural state is amazed every second by its own creation. So this is a very ecstatic state, and it can be even enhanced when there is music around or people that are happy, because the natural state of humanity is so much suffering, so much suffering. So in the natural state, when you are the natural state, you adapt yourself to your surroundings. So even the nature of this state is ecstasy. You can't show it as an individual every time you act, because if now, instead of explaining what I'm explaining, I would start to dance like something inside me only is waiting to do, to dance, to sing, to rejoice and celebrate this moment. But it's not logical. It's not the logical thing to do, because now I am like talking. So in the story, now Simcha is talking, so she has to talk, not dance. So in the similar way, even though the natural state is eternal bliss and ecstasy, the natural state adapts itself to what's happening. And if he is in somewhere he needs to be serious, or if it needs to argue to get something better, he will do that. He will do what it takes. Very, very alert and very, very focused. This is the possibility to be very, very focused in your life, because all this heavy load of your identity, your separate form, who you are, if you don't have this weight on your shoulders, you only see what's happening, you can act. So I can say that ever since that shift, Simcha is so much more useful. She is focused, she's very, very sharp. She can look at a situation and really know what's going on, and really look at the people and this is why it's very easy to see other people in this state, to know where they are, what they are feeling, what they are doing wrong, how I can help them. Because Simcha is not interrupting this process. This is only the oneness looking at itself and wanting to help itself. So there is a great, great focus, because the separate form Simcha doesn't take all the attention like it used to, like a nagging child. But I can say, for the benefit of Simcha, that lived for 45 years prior to this moment, and I can say about all human race, that living without the protection of this knowing, of this being, this state, is so hard. Simcha was suffering so much, and she didn't even know it. She didn't know how much suffering she was experiencing as a person until this suffering was presented to the separate form as what it is, the illusion that it is, and the character could just fall, and only as the natural state stayed. So much suffering she suffered, and I think everyone is suffering. It's a constant torment in your mind. You are tormenting yourself all the time. I can say how sick it is, this process of thinking, how it makes the separate form weak all the time. It denies hope. It feeds on itself all the time. And I admire Simcha and everyone who is acting from this place of separateness in this illusory world and managing to do that, because it's so hard. Because Simcha knows how hard it is, amazingly hard. Simcha was so brave to do that, because now the natural state is so easy. It's such an easy existence. It's like it's not fair to live in this state next to all the people who are just living their lives with all this suffering, and look at this suffering and know that there is nothing Simcha, the separate form, in this form can do to tell them, okay, you are suffering and this is, take the remedy, take 2 spoons and everything will be okay. This is not the way. She can't do that. But she can see how much suffering is involved in this daily process of living. This oneness, when it expresses itself through Simcha now, I think that what it's saying, and it wants to say it very clear. So listen up. This is a natural state that is possible, is real, is the only thing that is real, is the answer to every problem you have, no matter what it is, no matter what is your situation. This is the solution for it. And there is a solution for your problem, and for the deepest problems, this is the solution. Knowing who you are solves everything. It's the way to be free. It's the way to finally be able to live, to finally be able to live. So no matter what are your troubles, this is the answer. This is the answer. And the answer is so simple. And what Simcha, the separate form, who still appears to talk, is saying is that it is real. It happens. It happens to the most ordinary people, and without practice, it can happen. I don't know what is your way. Maybe your way is practice. I don't know your specific way to this place, but I can say that this place, this living, I can try to describe it. It's like Simcha, the separate form, was walking in a desert, the Sahara Desert, in the middle of the summer, high noon, and she was sweating and burning, and suddenly it's like a cloud came and settled right above her and started to rain on her, and there was a great big shadow and flowers and birds and rain and water and dancing instead of this desert, instead of this hardship. So this is the state, and this is the real state, and this is the only state, and you are already this state. You are already this oneness. Your separate form demands your every attention and demands your identification, and you do that still, but it doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean this is the real state. What I am describing is the natural state, is the place that there are no questions unanswered. No questions unanswered. Only the knowing itself, and this knowing doesn't need approval from anyone, not from anyone who's listening to me, try to believe me or don't believe me, or from my family who doesn't care so much what I am about the things I'm saying. It doesn't need anything. It only expresses itself through the life so easily, so easily, so naturally, so ecstatically. So this is the natural state. This is how Simcha is living for 3.5 years. And it's not that I'm thankful, not that Simcha is thankful that she was savage from this terrible hell she was living, because there is no Simcha to be happy about this process. There is only this oneness, and this oneness is now expressing these words. This state is the only state. It's already your state, and it is real, and it can happen in your lifetime to you. Find your own way. Get your own cloud to rain on you.
Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost.